Okay, cool. I hope we are live. I'm just gonna quickly check on our socials. Okay, cool. I think we are live. Hello everyone and welcome to Async API. So today we'll be talking about how to make your GSoC Google Summer of Code proposal stand out. So we have our mentors Akshat, Abir, and Sovik who are here to share their tips, tricks, and the project overall. Hi everyone.
Hey everyone, hey Tuli.
I hope you're good and excited as I am.
Yeah. So like how do we start? Like do we discuss do's and don'ts, or first we answer some questions? Like if someone has any questions, let's start with questions.
I think let's start with what projects do we have, like a project overall, what projects do we have, what are they all about? Then we will take it from there.
Sure.
Okay, the floor is yours. Whoever wants to start.
Abhi, do you want to start with your project first?
You go ahead first. So Akshat and me have the same project, so we'll be
Okay,
discussing. Yeah.
So let me quickly share the link first so that people can
Would you like me to also share the screen?
right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's share the screen.
All right, give me a sec. Let me know when my screen pops. Or let me give you the sharing rights. You can share screen if that's fine with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to share now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So can you see my screen? Yeah, so can you guys see my screen? Yeah. So yeah, so for Async API, I am going to mentor this project. Okay, it's a project that we are going to build. It's a project on Glee, and like I guess I have to talk a bit about Glee for this to understand what this will achieve. Right. So me and Khuda, we both are mentoring this. So if you have any questions about this project or anything you want to know about it more, or any problems you face while checking it out, you can reach any of us and we'll help you. Yeah, so let's start with how to write like a good proposal, right? So I guess to write like you have to stand out from others, and this one thing you can do is if you contributed to Async API before, right? So you get an edge. Right? When you're writing a proposal that you have already worked on this project or any other project, so that adds some credibility that you know the overall tools and you can work with it. That helps you get a better chance of getting selected. So that's one thing you should try to do. So I guess we still have a week or so, right? Like I guess it's till 4th April. I guess 4th April you have time. So that's like 10 days. So you can do some make any other issues that you find in Async API. It could be on any repo, so it's not a problem. Right? You just have to be familiar with Async API. And secondly, so we have this is just the idea. The project problem statement is just an idea that we are trying to solve. So you have to come up with some kind of idea to solve it. Now it might not be the best possible way to solve it, or it might not be the correct way to solve it, but we need some idea at first, right? Then we can think more together and build a better proposal. But we need a first idea from you guys so that we can help you evolve that idea to a better solution. right? And to talk about Glee is a project that lets you, it's a framework basically that lets you make server applications very easily, right? So I don't want to ride on this and talk about Glee a lot because then it'll take a lot of time because Glee a bit complex, but it's easy to use and easy to understand. So if you give it a chance, you'll find it very interesting. Okay, and okay, what else can I add? Yeah, so you can see a lot of people are already taking initiative over the project. So, and if you feel shy, it's like, maybe commenting in the issue is not your thing. First, don't feel shy. I used to feel shy as last year I used to feel shy. You can also, comment in Slack directly, or in any channel, mentorship channel, I guess, if you wanna ask your questions, that is also fine. If you don't want to ask him the issue, but feel free to communicate to me. Yeah, that's for me.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Solvik. If you have any questions, you can drop them on the chat. Solvik is here to answer. In the meantime, Abir Akshat, would you like to give a project overview?
Yeah, sure. Should I share screen? Abir?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Akshat.
Okay. Share screen. Just again, this one. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Perfect. So this is one of the issues that Lucas initialized previous year, like while he was trying to add some IDs to this HTML content while going through inside the doc. So you find out that many of the HTML elements doesn't have an ID exist on it, so that we can test whether these particular HTML elements or the HTML content has been added to the website or not. So for that, he first raised an issue for that. We know that it wasn't only for ID. It may be a stuff for the writing the first UI test, which won't be an easy task. First of all, like if a certain person has a good knowledge of code base, he perfectly knows that we have several of pages and components rendering inside the website, and it won't be possible to get the test scripts at one instance or in one PR only. So regarding this particular issue, as I described here, that what do you need to do this is that first of all, that you should have a good knowledge of this particular code base, like website. It is not necessarily that you should have contributed a lot to the website. A good knowledge of Next.js and the testing libraries also does the same thing. Like this is simply a front-end static website, as you see in the Sync API website. But what do we need here is that, as right now, there is no test to test the components and the functions inside it. Right now, as the more and more content are being added to the website, we see that lots of components, lots of data are being added. Even the maintainers are not able to maintain the data. More number of people are not aware of the code base or the content which are inside it, and in many places we may occur with the data redundancy errors and data duplication. So now the concepts comes that to ensure that all the code which has been pushed inside the production should be properly tested with the components. Not only the Netlify tests that are actually the CI/CD being implemented, but also we do need certain test which goes inside the particular pages. Either you can use any of the testing libraries, Cypress, Playwright. So yeah, for this particular issue, we haven't defined any specific testing library for any of the particular contributors. You can go ahead, research about the testing libraries, like you have Cypress, you have Jest, you have Playwright, and whosoever you thinks like fits best for you, you can go with the contribution, and that you can make a proposal plan out of it. But yeah, for this particular thing, you need to understand the issue first, that whatever things are needed inside it. So what contributor has to do, understand the code base and list which type of tests are needed in the website, list the appropriate tools and logic on which test should be built in the website, and the proper particular reason should be built in that according to the research, that why this particular tool he is using. He has to justify, he or she has to justify that. Now the coding part comes in, what the person contributor will be making inside the coding period. So first of all, it will be a slightly refactoring of the code base, because at certain places I see inside the components that many of the components are being made in a way that they can't be properly tested. They are just being hard coded. So we can't make the things like that. You have to be very much specific about how you should have to scale that particular components. Second one comes on with the various tests and the test suite you have to write inside it. Like in this particular, what you will gonna particularly, am I still audible? Can you please confirm? Because like my
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
should have
yeah.
not.
Yes, you are.
Perfect. So yeah, the first and the second part, which is the most important, that you have to make various tests according to test suits and the proper edge cases and the corner cases, because there the main core part comes, that you have to have knowledge about the code base, where the particular component has been used, where these pages are being rendered, inside pages and pages, what the functionalities are being made. Aside from that, if also there are certain backend scripts running using the GitHub workflows, which need to be tested using the GitHub APIs, and a lot of stuff are there in it. So like for that, you have to make proper test and test suits with the proper logic in it. And at the end, the main core part comes in here, that each of the tests should work on each commit being pushed on the any branch or the PR which has been initialized according to the test. So for that you have to make relevant GitHub actions for that, or maybe any means, like some of them are not very much familiar with the GitHub actions. They can also plan according making the things work according to the Jenkins, but as we are mostly on the GitHub actions, we prefer that if you use GitHub actions to make workflows and automate the testing inside the website, it will be much more preferable. So this was the whole issue. It is a medium-sized, particularly medium-sized issue, and inside the GSoC, and you have to make this particular proposal accordingly. So these are the points you need to make sure that you actually mention inside the proposal. And then after it, as you can see that lots of folks are being interested, and they ask various questions, and yeah, I and Abhi are ready to answer to you on every question you heard. Secondly, yeah, this is the comment that has been made by the Abhi. I want to highlight this because he actually gives you a core example on how you should plan out the things inside your proposal. So like, first of all, the point he made is choosing a testing library, which is the most important step. Like, you can use Playwright, you can use Jest. There are a lot of testing libraries available in the internet, but what suits the best inside the website? Like, what is the most optimal one? Why this particular library is best for this repository, not the other one? So this is the things you need to research about it. And he also mentioned the certain points that you should like, it should be fast and reliable, it should be flag detection and handling in that such. Second one is to draft out the cases. So like, identify the scenarios where the tests are needed, where we should actually make testing. We should not make the tests which are not very much needed. Like, there should be a clear category between the critical, medium, and low risk in the test cases. And third one gives out to be an example. So like, if you do this type of resource, it will be very much easy for you to contribute inside the coding period, because you have already done the research about it. We also get the minor approach and plan regardingly that how you will be going through during your contributing period, how you are actually planning to make the PRs inside the coding period, and what relevant guidance you want inside during that period. So that's all the things you have to be a good I should say good points to make about this proposal. Regarding all the necessary, these are the necessary points you should make it. And regarding the proposal format, so you must have gone through previous year proposals, or you can find it out on the internet. There is not much, I should say, too much hype about it that we should follow for proper format. But yeah, it should be clean, concise, descriptive way proposal where you are describing your plan for this, for the testing libraries and the test you will be making inside that period. And the timeline is the most important one. I usually say that because the timeline, it is the one that suggests the mentors that how you will be framing out all the things, how much time you will give to each and individual module inside that particular idea, and how you are suggesting to the mentors, how you're going to the review period for the mentors, and how you're taking the meetings with the mentors. So that's all the cases that you have to mention in the timeline, and we prefer on all these sections about it. Anything you want to add, Abir?
So I was focusing mainly on this part, the comment which
Yep.
you're highlighting. So I would like to focus more on this. Usually what happens, most of the testing library, uh, they have this flaky test appearing on. So what happens in flaky test? What is a flaky test, first of all? So it is kind of the test passes intermittently. It means it may pass on your machine, but it won't pass on your CI pipeline. So these things happen. Usually with the React testing library or Playwright, all these things, they have low flake detection and handling mechanism. So that's why we wanted something which has particularly a flake detection and handling, and there will be cases because we are using Next.js, and you have to write particularly with your in your mind that the code base is not React. Writing Cypress test suite in React based application is quite easier than putting it in Next.js where the server is also involved. So you may have to use some mockers in order to mock the API callings, and based on that figure out what to write, what are the different flows. The ideal step will be first of all, you have to go through all the code based scenarios and what are the different user flows, especially on the docs website, then on the viewing the home page, what are the various links that you can click on. So there are many user flows happening, right? So you have to first list down them, and once you have listed it out, categorize them into what are the highest risk, like which user flows can need more testing. So put it in, categorize them as high, low, and medium risk factors. Based on that, first focus on critical ones, medium ones, and then if there is time left, then we can focus on low ones, because low ones doesn't add any value. It is just for cleaning up purposes, and it's going to be used very less. That's why it's put in low risk. So make sure you complete critical and medium cover really well. So that's the most important part we are going to focus on. And as Akshat said about the timeline, so make sure that you go through all the timeline and everything that is mentioned in the Postman GSoC, uh, the GitHub markdown, which has given every timeline detail. So just go through that and make sure you include all your proposal, like include that particular point in your proposal, that at which time we are going to do this. So my suggestion will be to put it in a week format, that first second weeks you'll be focusing on listing out the user flows, then third and fourth week you'll be focusing on implementation, and that's what the about the implementation process. That fourth week can have the communication, and communication is the integral part of this whole GSoC process here, GSoC program. What happens, you have to communicate with the mentor and also other stakeholders who are assigned this project. It can be Lucas, it can be Akshat, it can be me as well. So you have to communicate very, sometimes you have to over communicate, because we are living in an async world. That's, we are living remotely in different locations, so that's why you have to sometimes over communicate and join or create a group DM. In fact, sometimes on Slack, we have Slack, async API Slack, so you should join there and try to communicate with us if you're interested in contributing to this particular project. And also the proposals will be updating you how to submit on it. And there will be two kind of submissions. One is via the GitHub gist, and another one is the GSoC portal. So we are going to figure it out and update you on that, so keep an eye on that. That's all.
Yeah, and moreover, like if you need a review regarding your proposal, what you have made till now, you can directly DM us, or even you can give us the link on the mentorship channel. Ping me and Abir for that. We will be helping you to review that particular proposal.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone has gotten a detailed idea on what the projects we have and the overall overview. So my next question is, who is eligible to apply for GSoC this year? Is there any eligibility criteria? For example, like people who have contributed or people who are enthusiastic. So like who can come and who is eligible to come and apply for GSoC? Um,
Yes.
over to you.
So usually, GSoC, first of all, the candidate should be in a non-embargoed country by US. So it shouldn't be embargoed by US. Otherwise, the stipend and all this communication cannot happen. So the country should be first eligible, and the candidate should reside in that country during the whole program. That's the most important requirement. And then we have focused on like there's a thing, like if you have contributed to async API earlier, you already know things, so mentors are more aligned towards you, and as you have built up the connection, so that's a very natural thing that happens. But yes, we are also welcoming the first time contributors, and we want you to first, like, we encourage you to contribute first before directly jumping onto the proposal, because when you start contributing, you get to know what are the things and what are the different scenarios. Okay, and then you can include them in your proposal. That's how you can make your proposal firstly stand out, and also your mentors will be really happy to see that okay, the things have been working out and you are contributing to the community as well. Any points, Akshat, Savik, you would like to add?
Yeah, like I was thinking there shouldn't be any criteria of 80 plus 18 plus. I was searching for that, but yeah, there is nothing, no criteria regarding that. Everyone can apply for the GSoC, and it is not necessity that you have to be a contributor in the particular repository. Even if you have not contributed in it, you have a good knowledge of regarding the particular idea, you can submit the proposal. Everyone is welcomed. But yeah, for regarding the contributions, the contributor who has a good knowledge of code base and has made certain PRs, so it makes a good value to the proposal, and mentor also gets the knowledge that the particular person has a certain knowledge of code base, and he or she can effectively contribute to the certain idea. He can talk to it. So there's not a necessity about the contributions, but yes, the contributions do matter for certain proposals too. um Regarding any points, not anymore. Like proposals are a certain format. I usually see that may people make fancy proposals in it, but that is not needed. Like you do not need to have a fancy font. It should be very clear to everyone. Like font should not be in the case like they are very much too cursive or very much too highlighting fonts like that. So it should be very much in the formal format, I usually, and it looks good to all the persons in the organization. Anything
All right.
anyone wants to add?
Anyone has any questions so far before we move on? It seems like we don't. Okay, so now we can go to what we are here today, how to tailor make your proposal and make it stand out. So Akshat, would you like to share your screen on the slides you prepared?
Like okay, perfect then. So it's like normal slides everyone has. Just a minute, let me screen share. Perfectly. So these are certain slides. So I don't mind making it too much deep inside it. It's certain just an overview regarding that what is GSoC. It's a particular opportunity for all the students to gain experience in the open source. So like I love the open source so much. I was being in the open source for 1.5 years. Yeah, like I also applied for the GSoC last year, but didn't able to crack it out. But as a GSoC, there are more number of open source programs too you can apply for it. One such is the Sync API mentorship program. But yeah, GSoC is also an amazing everyone, and it gives us amazing, like it gives us too much experience inside the open source softwares that are being developed. So this was this research one. So as all Abir and the Sovik discussed about it, that research is the most important part of the proposal. Like if you don't know the idea of the issue that you are making out of the proposal, you won't be able to make a quality proposal for that idea, right, Abir? So like these are the things that we matter. Anyone wants to add regarding the research?
I guess you are covering everything, so that's fine. You can go with that.
Fine, yeah. So that's one of the point, that research one. Second comes on the focus on the quality. So like as you have done the research, you will have to know, you actually know about that. Okay, these are the particular tech stacks you have to contribute in. These are the libraries, we can go for it. Now comes your own particular technical knowledge, and all your experience comes out here, that what you want to choose here. So now that you should demonstrate your technical skills, your research skills, like that. And one of the most important thing that I usually make a very much consideration on the proposal is the detailed timeline and the clear plan. So this is something that actually depicts mentee's quality, that how he is progressing inside the particular idea. So if if the timeline suggests that he is not getting all the things up to mark on the deadline, so it was not actually a good case for anyone, for any mentee proposal. You should be very precise about the timeline. You should follow those particular timelines according to the PRs you are making inside the coding period. And the timeline should match according to the, if you're a student, should match according to the academic timeline you already have. Like for professionals, it may be their job schedule, but for the students, it's like the college timeline or school timeline, wherever they are. And one of the second point comes out to be well written and concise. So here with the well written and concise means that depicting out what are the important points you want to mention regarding your issue. So there comes out with the project description then comes out with the particular libraries or the testing frameworks you're using. You have to, sometimes you have to explain about the libraries and the frameworks you are particularly using in those ideas, because they may be not much more using the code base before it. So you have to explain everything logically and in a well manner, that what are your particular things you want to edit. And typos and the grammatical errors is something like, it's the basic one, everyone has to focus on that. It shouldn't be like you have a lot of typos inside the particular proposal and the person wouldn't be able to read and understand. So that was in the part of focus on quality. Be pre-professional. So as I said, that you are not actually making a certain fancy document. It's a formal document you are particularly submitting to a certain organization. So it should contains a proper particular information regarding yourself and your information, your contact information. Like it's given that you should have your resume, portfolio. It's not necessarily that all the things should be there, like you should mention your portfolio like that. But yeah, make sure you have your contact information, like your email and phone number, so that if a certain person wants to contact, mentor wants to communicate to you in the future, he can easily get to your email and phone number. Also, the, like as in the case of resume, there is a skill section here. Also there comes inside the proposal, there comes a section of prerequisites for this particular issue. So prerequisites is a certain section where you need to be specific, like what are the number of skills, or the what are the particular tech stack or sticks you will be needed for this particular idea. You have to mention that, and you have to be very much confident about those skills in your domain also. So like you should know about these particular things, even if you don't know about it at that particular time when you are making the proposal. Make a comment that you will you will learn about this during your community bonding period. You will search upon it during your coding period, and you will make these things out of it. So you should be very firm that you know those particular skills very well, so that you can contribute to the idea very well. So that was the making it to be a professional uh, proposal for it. The next one comes out to be creative. So like every proposal, like if certain every person looks on to any of the issues that are inside the GSoC, so everyone comes out with a certain solution. It may happen that every solution comes out to the same, like there's only a one particular solution which is, or one particular approach working, and that is coming, that is a normal approach for everyone. But there are certain things, like you have to make it as a standout, make it a creative one. Like you can alter the approach in somewhat manner that it optimizes your particular implementation. If it even optimizes your implementation by 10% or 15%, it actually gives a great boost to your proposal. And coming up with the creative ideas, if you have if you already considered, like you already contributed to the organization before, so you already know that this particular code base exists with these particular fallbacks, and this particular things are being implemented. So you can also mention that, okay, we have already implemented this one, we can use this particular part of code and make or extend this particular components inside it. So this is something where your creativeness comes out to it, and you can implement your ideas in a very good way. So be sure to include a detailed plan for how you will implement your ideas there. So there are certain points that I actually manually made it. So one of them is that start with a clear and concise project description. That and this is the important one, because this gives the mentor a particular knowledge that, okay, so this particular mentor proposal have all the okay, where I messed up.
Okay, I think the last part on points.
Was it breaking in between as well when I was
No,
explaining?
no, I think on the last part only from my side of, I'm not sure about the others, but yeah, on the last points.
Like just a minute.
Okay.
Perfect. So on this part, right? Second point.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, this was the skills and the experience section. As you talk about these things in the resume and portfolios, it is exactly the same about your skills and experience. You don't have to describe it in more detail, but it should be very much clear and precise to the particular mentor. Third is the detailed timeline. So as Abir suggested you, that you should make your timeline according to the weeks. So it gives a very brief description to the mentor as well, that yeah, this is the way the idea will be implemented in this plan and in this approach. So he can also adjust to that particular timeline and make a time for you during that particular period, and he can guide you effectively in that way also. Show your passion for the open source. So this was something I should say, these are the community passion for certain person, like how much you have contributed to the community, how much you love the community of the open source. So this is the question that maybe you have been asked before, that how much interested you are in this particular project, and how you lead to this particular to this particular organization. Like the question comes inside the proposal, that how you started contributing to the sync API, how do you know about the sync API, what gives you interest inside those particular projects. So this is the way you can add 1 or 2 questions regarding it on your opinions, that why do you want to contribute to it. The fifth one is the communicate effectively. So this is the one point very sorry, very important for the mutual discussion between the mentee and the mentor. So you need to be very much like open to the mentor, that what are the ideas for it. You should also listen to the mentors, like what exactly the project describes. You should have a clear communication about their ideas, about the progress that are being made. And that's why we recommend that before you submit your proposals, have a review about the proposals from the mentor. He or she can surely guide you that, okay, these are the relevant points you are missing, these are the things you can add, or this is the particular thing you have misunderstood in your particular aspect. And then submit a polished proposal. So after the reviewer time is done, your proposal comes out with, okay, this is the polished one, this is the finished product one. You can particularly submit this proposal and wait for your selection. So these are the points like I wish to add on it. So that's the conclusion for it. Writing a great proposal is actually takes time. So last year when I was making a proposal out for that, I took around 15 days to make the proposal. It is the standard time, like at least 15 days is required. Then the review period starts out. It again takes you like 5 to 10 days more from the mentor's side too, because the communication goes on. Either it can be a meeting or it be a chat communication on the Slack or any other platform built. But good luck for the good luck to everyone. This is the best time you can show up, go on to your communication skills, give time to making proposals out of it, because proposal is not the thing that can be made in just 1 or 2 hours. It takes time. And for me, that ideal, and sometimes the people ask that what is the ideal length of the proposal. So for me, it's like 6 to 8 pages of proposal. It's enough for me, like including the timeline. If your issue is the big one, like it's a large project, it can go up to 15 to 16 pages of that, but not much information is needed in the proposal. Like you don't need to explain everything inside the each and every point in detail. More precisely, the thing that matters is that you understand the issue, and you shows up the timeline for the mentor, that how you will be approaching that particular idea. So that's it from my side. Anyone who wants to add into this particular points, Abir and Souvik? Hey, am I connected? Like sometimes the internet has been
Yes, I
quite
think
tough with me.
silence means that you covered everything.
Yeah, you got everything, literally everything.
Perfectly then. Do we need to show up any sample proposal, or it will be okay?
If you have, you can show one. I don't have it right now with me, but yeah.
Like this is the proposal, and I won't say that please follow this proposal as a whole. This is the proposal from which I have been rejected. This is not a successful proposal. So this last year I applied for the GSoC under the Processing Foundation, and I made a proposal for one particular idea. And these are certain headlines, certain headings to which I precisely describe all the things, like what is the project description, uh, explain them according to the screenshots and all the things that needs to be there, perfectly made. And at the last, one of the things that comes in is the development process, the timeline. So like if you look into the GSoC timeline, first one is the community period timeline. Don't go for the dates as exact, because the dates do changes for each particular GSoC timeline. So first one comes out to be community building, community bonding period. When you familiarize yourself with the code base and uh, all the things, all the deadlines and milestones, and you even have a first meeting with your mentor on how the things will proceed. The second one comes out to be the coding period. So like what goes inside the coding period. So there comes a timeline with all the weeks distributed. So yeah, there's one such thing that I would like to mention is the evaluation period. So make sure that you mention the evaluation periods inside the GSoC. So if you don't give the effective enough time to the mentor to evaluate or review your particular PRs you have implemented till now. So it may hamper your proposal because mentors do need time to review your particular changes you have made inside the PR. So this is the time I usually give 1 week to the mentor to review it, and in this way you have to complete your whole evaluations. Like previously I have 12 weeks of this particular idea, and I made all of them, including the evaluation, the first evaluation, second evaluation, the final evaluation criteria with one week duration. And then comes the usual details about me, which project I'm applying for, why I'm interested in this particular organization, and the essential prerequisites. And at the last, I have the few of my contributions inside the P5 organizations. So this is the whole particular proposal. I made around 15 to 16 pages. Yeah, it was a bit descriptive one because I actually added a lot of screenshots and a lot of sources, testings, particular things that I wish to explain about what I will be doing inside my particular idea. So that's it all. That's all. Anyone's any questions or any things add to it?
Any questions so far for Akshat? If you have any questions on what to highlight in your proposal, our mentors are here to answer any concerns that you might have. Okay, let me quickly check on YouTube. Maybe we might have questions down the side.
I think Akshat has covered everything. That's why there are no questions. Super clear.
Yeah, I also think so. Akshat covered pretty much almost everything that anyone needs.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi,
Ace.
so hi everyone.
Yes.
I'm Ace. So I was thinking, what if, as a potential contributor, my GSoC proposal got rejected? What advice do you have for me?
So this is the particular question that actually happened with me. I am the person who has been rejected from the GSoC last year. And as you actually know that you also informed me, like SNKP didn't participate in the GSoC last year. So what was my another way of for the open source was like I keep on contributing to the open source, and the opportunity I got was the Async API mentorship program. This is the opportunity, like many of the persons do not know about it. Like Async API has its own mentorship program, which is being coordinated by the ACE, who has asked the question, and also that it is a 3 to 5 months long program where you have an particular deadlines to complete certain issues or projects inside the Async API repository. So like this is the brilliant opportunity. Apart from that, you have Summer of Bitcoin outreaches are actually being done right now. Like they have started their contributing period. Summer of Bitcoin is still left. And apart from that, Linux Foundation also has certain open source programs you can apply for that. Like various options are there.
Thank you,
I
Akshat.
answered your question,
So
Ace?
just to emphasize,
Thank
so
you.
if just to emphasize on what Akshat said, yes, if your proposal stands out on GSoC and you don't make it, you can always apply for Async API mentorship. I will announce that in due course. I hope that answer your question, Ace.
Yep, it does. Thank you. I also have another question.
Yes.
So I basically just joined this meeting to ask questions.
Yes.
Hope you guys are ready. So
Yes.
my second question is basically a question I got from one of the contributors or applicants. So he was going through the list of like project ideas, And he was like, Ace, so I'm so interested in participating in open source. I've done some contributions to a sync API, uh, but the projects I'm seeing here are like quite complex. Like it feels maybe it can't work on it or something. So I was thinking, what do you like have to say to folks that are feeling this way? And so he said something. He said the list of people that are actually showing interest in this project looks really smarter than him. So what can he do like to, I don't know, like what advice do you have for someone like that?
Mm. Anyone who would like to take up this question? Actually, you're on mute.
Yeah, so like this particular question, if he thinks that the issues are a bit harder for him, and like there are certain particular competitors there. So like competition, I say that it is everywhere, like even if you go in any ideas or in any GSoC organization. So if he thinks like he still wants to he still wants to make a proposal for it and wants to want to get select for that particular idea, one of the best things he can do is making the proposal of a very good quality. Like research is the one thing that needs to be done very effectively. If you have a good knowledge and research about the issue, you have a good communication with your mentor, there are the better chances that you will get selected for that particular idea. And contributions, yeah, do matter, but at the end, it is also being taken into consideration that you have a good knowledge too. Anyone wants to add point to it?
I just
Yeah,
wanna just add a few. Sovik, okay, you can go ahead.
okay. Yeah, so I would say that like it doesn't matter that you get selected or not. Basically, you're just here to learn, right? So if you see others are like, they have better proposal, don't get discouraged. You will learn from them and like from the community. And like even if you don't get selected, there are other things you can do. Like if you keep on contributing, you'll keep on learning, right? So that's a win-win anyway, right? So yeah, you should just use GSoC to level yourself up, right? You shouldn't care like if you get selected or not. Like, that attitude kind of like helps.
Yes, that's true. Don't feel intimidated. I remember when I was applying for GSoC, I think they had like 200 plus interviews. And out of those 200 plus, I think 260 something interviews that were done, I was part of the 6 that were selected. So it doesn't matter whether you've made prior contributions. It's all about research, like what Aksha said. Research. Also highlight why you want to be part of Async API. Why would you like to contribute? And show your enthusiasm in your proposal. Those are the things that you need to highlight in your proposal as well. It must be short, it must be concise, it must be straight to the point. And even though if you don't get selected for GSoC, you can always apply for the Async API mentorship. There is always enough projects to contribute to. And also, open source is all about learning. So even if you don't get accepted this year, there is always next year. And it's all about getting better and better. So don't give up, don't fear competition. It's all part of the process. Just do your best and the rest will work out. That's all I have to say. I'm not sure. Do we still have any more questions? Okay. Richard, Savio, are there any questions from your side?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, I think we can quickly summarize today's call. So in order to make your proposal stand out, according to me and from what we have had from our mentors, it is important that you highlight the timeline, and the timeline must be in weeks. For example, week 1 until week 2, you highlight the dates as well and say, okay, this time I'll be doing community onboarding, community bonding. Those are the things that you need to highlight, especially the timeline is very important. Number 2, your proposal needs to be concise, straight to the point, and also you must make sure that your proposal also is grammar free as well. So please make sure you use tools like Grammarly in order to make your proposal stand out. Number 3 is to make sure that you start writing your proposals early in order for you to have gate feedback from the mentors. They'll be able to help you to show you where your proposal is lacking, what do you need to emphasize, what need you to remove, or what you need to add on your proposal. So start early and ask for feedback. This is why our mentors are here. They're here to help you. They're here to help you grow and learn. And number 4 is to learn to communicate, over communicate. It is very important. We live in an asynchronous world. Everybody is here from different parts of the country. So it's very important for you to over communicate with your mentors as well. And finally, just show up. It doesn't matter whether you know something as yet or you're lacking, just show up. Show that you are passionate about open source. Show that you are here to learn, you're here to grow, and the rest will fall through. And with that in mind, you can be glued on our mentorship channel on Slack. I'm sure our mentors will also drop some pointers, extra resources. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to just drop them on Slack on the channel. And I'm sure when you ask your question publicly, so many people will get help by it. So with that in mind, before I close, does anyone have any closing remarks?
Yeah, just keep contributing.
Yes, just keep contributing. If you don't make it to GSoC, you can always apply to Async Mentorship. If you don't make it there is always next year. So just keep contributing. Don't stop contributing. And with that in mind, I think we have covered all the basics. So I would like to give a shout out to Abir, to Akshat, and to Solvik for taking their time today on a Monday to come and share their insights as well. And thank you so much to everyone that has joined. And if you have any further questions, you can always drop a message on Slack. And with that in mind, we will see you next time. And peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.